welcome our next presenter. It's Amit Aggarwal from SoFi, and he'll be sharing with us about fintech in general and SoFi's disruptive strategy. So Amit is also a Fuqua grad. He's a class of 2013 Fuqua alum. He's very passionate about fintech and has worked in the finance and technology space for more than 15 years. During his professional journey, he had an opportunity to work with both traditional banks as well as high-tech companies. So he's now probably combining his past experience and disrupting the way people finance. He currently leads the risk and operations project development at SoFi. So without further ado, Amit, the stage is yours.
Cool. Thank you, Alan. Thanks for inviting me. I'll start with sharing my screen. Can you all see this?
Yeah, we can see that.
Awesome. So again, thanks everyone, and thanks for inviting me. Just a quick introduction. My name is Amit Aggarwal, and I'm a product manager at SoFi. SoFi is social finance. SoFi, if you don't know, is one of the successful fintech startups who's aiming to become a full-fledged banking institution eventually. My current role, so I manage few areas from product perspective here. One is risk and compliance. Then I also manage operations, how to communicate with customers who call in or email us or reach out in a lot of different ways. And the third, but not least, is the onboarding experience. So SoFi has a lot of different financial products. How the experience should look like when the customer is applying for a different product. So I also manage that. So today I'm going to speak mostly around fintech, as well as focusing mostly on SoFi and social finance. Are there any questions? Sorry, I can't see them. Cool. So I'll start with my journey. Sorry, can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, you can see that perfectly.
All right, so I'll start with my journey. So fairly standard, I did my bachelor's in engineering from India, came to US for my master's in engineering, went to University of Florida. Right out of college, the first job I got was in banking, Capital One. I spent almost 7 years there, seven and a half years there, did a lot of different things. You can, from product perspective, I manage credit card products, lending, small business lending products, personal loans there. While I was at Capital One, I got a chance to get my MBA from Duke. So I joined Fuqua. While I was Duke, I spoke to a lot of people there, my classmates who were from the tech background, and that sparked my interest. At that point to start exploring something in the tech world. And that's where I spent almost an hour in JP Morgan Chase before moving to Amazon. I spent a few years in Amazon and Uber doing mostly tech or fintech, if you want to call it, that work. And currently I'm at SoFi. I already talked about what I do here. So in terms of the next few minutes, how I want to spend is just to go over what I see in the fintech space, and probably most of you already experience it as well. Most of my time today I'll spend on what SoFi does, how we do it, and so on and so forth. And I'll leave some time, 5 to 10 minutes in the end for questions. Unfortunately, I have to rush through a little bit because I have a hard stop at 12. But I'll definitely leave some time. So what is fintech? Most of the financial activities in traditional sense, right, are moving to the online world or already moved, right? You talk about banking, you talk about insurance, lending, everything is online these days, right? Even the traditional banks, they are switching to online, specifically focusing on millennials. In other words, if you think about it, technology has made such transactions much more convenient and cost efficient, right? So, and that's why more and more banks are moving towards that, because their cost structure in traditional sense is much higher, and technology is helping them. And specifically for banking, if you think about it, right, for majority of the cases, you don't even need to go to bank branches anymore. So bank branches have become redundant. I don't even remember last time I went to a bank branch. With that said, there are a lot of areas where innovation and disruption is going on within the fintech space. There are almost more than 250 fintechs that I could find in various different areas, and solving various different problems, from accounting to finance to point of sale, mortgage industry, you name it, right? So disruption is happening everywhere. But just at a high level, when we say fintech, right, what it actually entails, right? So if you think about it, it's largely driven by the delivery channel. In the past, there was need for you to go to the bank branch to do any transaction, money movement, or applying for a credit card and those kind of things. But now everything is available in front of you on the internet. So delivery channel is driving most of the changes, right? Your mobile, tablet, desktop. But at the back end, your systems are still same that you would see in any traditional sense, right? You still need, here I've shown example for P2P lending, peer-to-peer lending, right? The example here is, Prosper of the world or Lending Club of the world. You still need loan origination. You still need loan servicing, right? They have created a marketplace. So you have to create a backend system that support your delivery channels, right? And everything is happening in real time. And obviously in lending space, you need to integrate your systems, your in-house systems, with third-party systems as well. For example, Equifax, Experian. So they provide a lot of information for different fintechs or companies or banking institutions to make a lending decision, right? So everything happening in the online space using technology in real time, which is kind of driving or powering this disruption in that sense. So coming to SoFi. So what is SoFi? So the biggest thing or mission for SoFi is to help members achieve financial independence to realize their ambition, right? I've worked in various different companies, tech, banking, and so on and so forth. Nobody takes the mission as seriously as SoFi, right? And every meeting you go to, every discussion you have, basically everyone speak about this mission. They're so dedicated and married to the mission. And why we do that, right? I'll give you a couple of minutes of video just to ponder on that, and I'll speak to it.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Larissa.
Shane, hi.
Nice to meet you. So you're a lawyer? Yes. I was born in Romania.
Romania. That's awesome.
I grew up in Phoenix.
I was adopted.
I'm a coal miner's daughter.
I was the first generation to go to college in the United States. I ended up racking up over $100,000 of debt.
Same.
Student debt is, you don't really choose. Credit card debt is fault all of my own.
I went through deep depression, and I thought buying things was going to make me happy.
I've never shared the total amount that I was in debt.
Really? Do you need like a hype squad?
Altogether, like maybe 50 to 60,000.
400,000.
Oh yeah, yeah. Ouch. Oh man.
My husband, we have separate banking accounts. We don't share.
Oh, we share everything.
See, just even hearing that, it kind of makes me like, are we just odd? Are we just two stingy people who don't want to share?
We got down to $10 in a checking account. I didn't tell my husband. I just thought, oh, I better get this fixed.
I got myself into a situation where I feel like I couldn't dig myself out. And one of the things that I feel like I really missed out on is other people.
One of my loans went into default. And that's when I started to really think about it would be easier if I just ended it all and let my mom take the insurance money and pay off my debt. So
I feel like that was a really tough thing to share.
We talk about that shame, but it's like we don't want shame in any aspect of our life. You know, we don't want to be that depressed person. We don't want to be that person that's in debt.
At my job, I didn't ask for a higher rate. I didn't think that I had the right or the ability to do that. And I'm ashamed personally that I didn't do it because I encourage all others, especially women.
So I am debt-free.
I have a little ways to go until I can join your club.
I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I really do. It's like I can almost grasp it.
Me, I've still got so much ambition left.
I wanted to be a teacher.
I want to be president. I just.
So now I'm in the first year of a 10-year refinance.
Like the morning you wake up after you paid that last loan, like how would you say good morning?
It'd probably be like, whoa.
Please watch me. Good morning, good morning, good morning!
Would you like me to bounce as well?
You can do a little bounce to it.
Okay.
You got a little swag to it.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Woo! That sounded like she is debt-free. And the way to be.
All right. So, these are real people, right? And this is a real problem. It's not just in US, actually it's worldwide. This problem is real in the sense, and it's not that traditional banks or banking, they are not trying to solve this problem. They are, but they are kind of a disadvantage in the sense their cost structure is such that they cannot fulfill or cover all the needs that are out there, right? So, and that's why the disruption is happening in this space. And so it's another way of saying is basically SoFi is we are trying to help people get their money right. With that said, I'll go on to talk about SoFi history a little bit. No, I'll not go into each and every detail. So SoFi was founded by Stanford graduates and started with student loan for MBA student and started with the peer-to-peer lending. 9 years down the line, today, SoFi has basically expanded to multiple products, expanded from student lending. Now we are also doing home loans. We are also doing deposit accounts, invest account, and so on and so forth. And you probably heard recently we acquired a few companies, even internationally in the quest of going international. So these are some of the products that we have. Student loans, in-school loans. These are in-school loans are typically for high school and lower students. Personal loans, Relay is another product similar to that you have on Mint. That's another product. Home loans, SoFi Invest, so on and so forth. And one of the desire that SoFi has is to become a full-fledged bank. And in order to do that, you have to build a whole suite of products that can help its members to take advantage of all the different financial products out there, right? So if you compare with some of the contemporary startups of SoFi, Chime, Lending Club, Prosper, Betterment, SoFi at this point has the biggest coverage in terms of number of products that we offer. And recently, we also applied for a banking license. So this goes to show that like SoFi is truly looking to solve the banking problem and basically revolutionize the fintech space in that sense, right? And you probably would have heard the recent headlines. So SoFi basically partnered with Samsung to launch Samsung Pay debit card. We recently bought Galileo, it's a payment processing company. So any new fintech you can think of, right, from Laminate to Chime, Robinhood, they are powered by Galileo. And SoFi recently bought 8 Securities, which is in Hong Kong. It's another brokerage company to expand the invest portfolio. In terms of location, so SoFi has offices across US, from East Coast to West Coast, Montana, Utah, you name it. So if you're looking to apply for any opportunities there, you can work from anywhere. Yeah, obviously we are currently remote. All right, with that, we have a few minutes left for any questions that you guys might have on FinTech or SoFi. I'm happy to answer them. Sorry, I had to rush through because of the timing.
Yeah, thanks for your definitely exciting sharing, because we're probably all potential users of those FinTech products, and we already received a lot of positive feedbacks on the video. That was really powerful. So I think as people still typing their question through Q&A sections, I have a question for you that since financial sector is a highly regulated industries, what are the challenges SoFi has faced when you're trying to disrupt this industry through a technology side?
Yeah, so I think it's an advantage and disadvantage, I would say. So advantage is if you are a startup, you're starting out, there's not a lot of regulators looking at you because you're so small in the grand scheme of things. They would go after big banks rather than focusing on you. So that gives you advantage to innovate very quickly. And that's what SoFi did. Now, I think SoFi is at a stage where it's not anymore a very small company that nobody will look after. And in order for you to scale from here on, you need to have all the basic checks and controls from compliance regulatory standpoint. So I'm actually working on a lot of those as we speak, right? Talking about AML, talking about SAR reporting, all those things I'm working on building right now, because we cannot scale beyond where we are today unless we build those systems. And so just to add to that, so we have applied for a banking license, right? So if you become a bank, you can only imagine the regulations and compliance that come with that. So it may take about a year or so before we actually become a bank, but we have already started preparing for that in terms of all the regulations and all the checks that we need to have in order to become a bank.
I see. Yeah, definitely. So I think another question in general for FinTech is that since like currently digital banking or new banking, like all those digital banks are popping up and starting to emerge, I guess a lot of people are discussing about whether there is one day when brick and mortar banks or those branches out there would all be eliminated. What do you think about this?
That's a very good question. So this is already happening to an extent, right? In the sense, I don't know last time when I went to bank branch, right? Even for probably ATM is the maximum interaction that I would have probably had. So more and more, we will be moving in that direction. At this point, I'm not sure if I'm ready to say that branches will go away entirely. And the reason I say this is because I used to do small business lending back in Capital One. So while there are a lot of startups there who cater to small business lending, but they're not very successful as yet. So there are some complex transactions that still need to happen where businesses particularly, they have to go to branch, or even if they don't have to go to the branch, they would like to open an office where the branches are close by so that they don't have to deal with, people on the phone and so on and so forth in that sense. So I think we are still a little far from that, but I won't be surprised that if eventually everything will be online, right, in that sense.
Got it. Got it. I think that makes sense. So I think we have one more question for you. So with so many P2P platforms in the space, how does SoFi differentiate from the rest, and how do they leverage those competitive advantage?
Yeah, so one of the differentiating factor, as I said, is SoFi is trying to cater to wider range of audience, right? So that's why we have the suite of products typically a bank would have, right? We're not there yet, but yeah, obviously, based on the size, if you compare other startups, they're focusing on one or two areas. We are focusing on each and every different areas. So a lot of things are already in the market. There are a lot of things we are working on the background, and it'll come in next year or so, right? So that is one way. So what we are motivated by is not that we try to acquire a lot more customers, or we call them members. Our motivation is, once member is in, are we making sure that we have all the right products for them so that they stay with us, they don't go out? Are we giving them the right experience in that sense, right? So that's where the ship is moving at this moment.
Got it. I see. I think, do you have any time for one more question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So a question from the audience would be, what are some of the problems and challenges that you're trying to solve as a PM in FinTech? What is top of mind for you?
Yeah, so as I said, in startup, everything is a problem, right? And as a PM, that's a kind of a gold mine for you to go and solve those problems. So I just joined about a quarter back, 3 months back, this company, and already I'm dealing with areas which I feel like never been worked upon by anyone, right? For example, risk and compliance. Currently, a risk and compliance, it exists. It's not that it doesn't exist, but it is so fragmented by each and every different product that it's not going to help as we are thinking about scaling next year or beyond. So I'm building a whole platform that will power all these different product lines, not for today, but 2 to 3 years down the line as well. So, which means this platform need to be integrated with a lot of different third parties for the intelligence that we want to develop in-house to be able to make decisions. That is one space. Second is operations, for example. When a member interact with us for any query, even the simple query as simple as balance, it takes us 10, 15 minutes to solve this problem, right? It shouldn't happen. It should be automated. Members should know it as soon as they open an app. How do you solve it, right? So you have to invest resources and put technical solutions out there so that for simple things, members do not have to worry about. So the beauty of startup is there's so many low-hanging fruit and opportunities for you to make a difference, but at the same time, it's a lot.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, thanks a lot for your sharing, and the thing you shared definitely opens up our imagination, and we're eager to see, like, in the future, all kinds of turning all kinds of impossible into possible, right? Because how people finance will be definitely disrupted, and we're eager to see more options or opportunities out there. So Thanks a lot, Amit, for your sharing, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you very much. There's one more question on the chat I just want to quickly highlight from Willie Green. So small business loan, is SoFi planning to offer it? So at this point, no. Small business loans in itself, its own beast. Lot more compliance and regulations and the skill sets that are required to build that product. So at this point, they're not. We are not thinking about it. But small businesses can apply for personal loans for whatever needs they have. All right, thank you very much for inviting me. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me via LinkedIn. I'm available there to answer any of your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amit.